Other, although by no means all, Z Special men received similar orders, some even being sworn to secrecy for life. Many obeyed and, as a result, in large parts of Australia, there were no Z Special Unit veterans associations until the 1970s. In the absence of a Z Special banner, Jack marched with the 1st Australian Parachute Battalion each Anzac Day. The organisation's lack of visibility meant that it was one of very few from World War II never to have been honoured with a dedicated plaque at the memorial. Memorial approval for the plaque was quickly received, and I began a search throughout Australia and overseas for Z Special personnel and their families, hoping that many would travel to Canberra for the dedication ceremony. This was a crazily ambitious undertaking, since the organisation's recruits had come from several countries and few up-to-date contact details were available. In addition, those who remained would now be very elderly and likely to find travel difficult. But finally, on the 1st of August 2016, after 70 years of waiting, more than 20 aged veterans and around 1,000 family members gathered opposite the Australian War Memorial Sculpture Garden, a group even having crossed the Tasman Sea from New Zealand to honour and remember. Many of those who attended had lost husbands, fathers, grandfathers, brothers, uncles and friends to the organisation's notoriously perilous operations, and had made the trip to lay their grief to rest. As the ode was read and the melancholy strains of the last post sounded across the memorial's sweeping lawns under a sombre winter sky, it was impossible not to weep. Jack was one of 2 veterans who unveiled the plaque that day in front of assembled dignitaries, including the Chief of the Australian Defence Force. I sat with him on the stage before the ceremony and held his hand in the biting Canberra cold. "How are you feeling?" I asked. "Good," he replied. "No worries, I'll be fine." And he was. Back ramrod straight, he played his part to perfection. Afterwards he whispered to me quietly, "It was the best day of my life." As well as producing ongoing friendships with veterans and their families, the day yielded an unexpected sequel. Not long after, a literary agent got in touch. She had seen Jack and me on television during the numerous interviews we had done together, and wondered whether I might like to write a book for a popular audience on Jack's World War II Borneo operation, Operation Semut. It was a breathtaking suggestion. I had been collecting material for a book on World War II and Borneo, but as an academic anthropologist, the book I had planned was very different from the one dangled before me. I spoke to Jack. He said wistfully, "There's never been a detailed book written about the whole of Semut." But I had no need for that gentle prod. Within a day I had decided. And so I, unlikeliest of military historians, an anti-war activist for much of my life, found myself writing a book about a secret military operation in the heart of Borneo. Much has happened in the ensuing 4.5 years. I began collecting archival and personal material for the book, interviewing the remaining operatives, talking to operatives' families, and revisiting the many interviews I had conducted in Borneo about the war. Jack and I developed a habit of speaking on the phone every Sunday afternoon, a weekly pause for laughter and shared confidences. I visited him in Adelaide in October 2016, staying in his little house in the suburbs where he cooked me porridge for breakfast and his daughter Lynette brought us comforting evening meals. We potted around in his garden, watched AFL on television and drank countless cups of tea. But mostly we talked about the war, Jack working back through his prodigious, remarkably accurate memories. In the meantime, I co-curated an exhibition at the Australian War Memorial on Australian World War II special operations in Borneo. 4 of the 5 surviving operatives from those operations, including Jack, made it to Canberra for the opening in April 2018, all now looking unbearably frail. Jack and I slogged through more media rounds, But 2018...